I have somehow managed to get sick like once every month, and I'm just embracing the fact that that's part of my journey at this point. But it be leaving my house in disarray. So I'm trying to get better about working through the dysfunction instead of just shutting down and having to do a complete reset before I go back to normally scheduled programming. You feel me? So just spend an impromptu day in the kitchen with me. Let's see what we're gonna end up cooking today. Since I have been under the weather, my refrigerator is a mess, and it's just gonna be like, just use what you got, babe. I don't have an idea about where we're going yet, but you know, sometimes I just look at ingredients and just like, okay, we can work with this. We could do something with this. So this is my first time actually trying this sausage. It's like a turkey sausage, and I only got these because my sister usually has problems with beef, so I try to not get her too much beef. Got these turkey sausages to try instead, so I'm just gonna cut these, and since again I didn't yet know what I was doing, I decided later on, like, let's put them in little coins, like little bite-sized pieces, because I just feel that that's always the safe route. Why would I be making big chunks of anything if I don't know what I'm making yet? Because who wants to eat just a big hunk of meat and something, right? That was just my logic. So it's like, if I don't know what to do with some meat, my immediate thought is just cut it small. I don't know if that like changes how it cooks really. Some things it does. Like if you cut an onion, cut a like a potato or something, yeah, it'll change how it cooks and how it tastes, but I just don't feel like that same thing happens for me. Maybe it'll cook faster. I feel like that's the most I could say is it'll cook I don't know. Tell me if I'm just making stuff up now, because I really I'm not really sure about that one. When did you see that? Like, I literally just figured out how to dice an onion, and I'm gonna be unstoppable now because that was so quick. But yeah, so like I said, we're just kind of rolling with it. I always put oil in my cast iron, but for whatever reason, I wanted a little butter with this. Can't tell you why. Was it necessary? I mean, is anything in the world really necessary? Who can answer that? If I really needed to put that, nobody can, but it is what I did. So I'm gonna cook the onions down because like I said, we're kind of just winging things here, but I'm going based off of the taste buds. I don't know where I want to go quite yet, but I know what I'm feeling is not within the realm of a raw onion. So I cut the onions up and I was like, okay, I'm gonna sweat them a little bit, and then I just add the sausage in. But I wasn't sure if I wanted to take them off yet. Like, how cooked down do I want these to be? Because with these sausages, they are already cooked. I should mention that. The sausage is already cooked. You're really just heating it up. I like to get a nice char on these bad boys. But you can cook them as much or as little as you want to, because since they're already cooked, you're really just heating them through. But I want mine to be crispy, a little burnty. That's what I'm usually going for. So honestly, I could have cooked the sausage first and then cooked the onion in the juices, but I just went with the onion first because it's like just a general rule of thumb, because onions take so long to cook, you usually want to get those out the way. But I didn't really want to be bothered with doing all of that, so I'm getting the sausage in the pan here. And if I really should have had my bigger pan so that I could spread the sausage all the way flat. You see how some of them are kind of like laying on top of each other? Yeah, we want them to be flat. But yeah, so then I went in my freezer to see like what could I add to this for some flavor, and I decided upon some frozen tomato paste I had in there, and then I'm going to season that tomato paste up with the sausage. And by this point everything is mixed together because I need to melt the tomato sauce, and the onions they're cooked enough, like I put the sausage in at the perfect time, I feel, because the onions weren't yet done. It was okay for me to keep cooking them. So now we're gonna let the meat and the veggies kind of kiss and make up with the tomato sauce, and I decided to season it a little bit more with some tomato chicken bouillon. I think that's what that's called. It's the chicken bouillon, but the one with the tomato, so it's red. So that complemented that, but don't season it too much because the sausage is seasoned. I did put a little seasoning in there, but I just wanted a little bit more of the tomato bouillon flavor so that it can mix with the beans, because you see I'm gonna add the liquid in that bad boy. So with the liquid being in the pan as well, I kind of wanted it to marry and kind of give me like that chicken brothy goodness that you get from using the tomato bouillon. That's optional. Like, I know a lot of people like rinse beans, but I really don't feel like you need to rinse when you're making like butter beans, because when you're making something like this, I should say, because you're gonna want that extra liquid in the pan, so why not just use the liquid that was already in the beans? You know, if you rinse them or you like pour it out and you add water, it's like a clean slate, and sometimes that's a bit much. Like, you don't want that nakedness going into your food. So yeah, we're just gonna let this cook down just a little bit. I'm gonna run over to the freezer here, and oh my god, please, it's so much in here. I don't never had nothing to eat, but this freezer's always full. Yeah, but we're gonna grab some sourdough. Yeah, okay. Keep your sourdough in the freezer. You don't have to keep all your bread in the freezer, but keep your sourdough. This one specifically does not have any preservatives, so I keep this bad boy in the freezer. I take it out when I'm ready to make something, just like right now. So I'm just gonna go ahead and slather a little butter on here. Ideally, frying the bread is always my favorite way to handle sourdough, but this is just like a quick throw in your mouth situation. I'm not being a culinary genius right now. I'm just a girl who's hungry. So we're just going to pop it in the broiler, okay? And like you can see, look how ugly these green onions are. They've been sitting in here. I buy fresh produce, and I do an okay job of keeping it. I don't let too much go bad, but child, I had to go through a couple of these just to get like one stalk, because they was looking a little sad. They was on their last leg. So I put some of them out their misery. But yeah, so I just like a little fresh bite with pretty much anything at this point. Like, I do like a little green topper. Like, you know how people like to put paprika on top of everything, or parsley? I'm a green onions girl. But yeah, so I cooked that bad boy down, okay? And I topped it with that green onion. And this here with the bread, I did want the bread to be fried. It was a little too soft on the other side, but it did not stop this from tasting absolutely amazing. I don't know what to call this. Like, what would you say that this is? Like, it's got beans and meat, so it's like, I don't think it's not a stew. Like, what do you call something like this? I think that's the hardest thing about just cooking at random. How do you name your food so that you can tell someone else that this is delicious and you should make it? Because in my house, we're childish. I'll call this something like beanie goodness. I don't think that's gonna correlate the same way to anybody else, but that's how we call food. Like, we got a dish that we have called it since childhood, rugrat dip. Why? Because we like the Rugrats. But I need help with that department. But also, I decided to make a little drinky drink to go with this. So this is a little spicy, so I wanted a nice cool drink to slide on down with it. And I had these frozen peaches, and I'm gonna use a little hot water to kind of melt them down and get them to create a little syrup. So just let that sit for a second, and you see, change colors. It's a syrup now. It's not just water and fruit. And I'm gonna add that syrupy goodness in. I'm gonna leave as much peach behind, but it's okay if a little come in. But leave the bigger pieces behind and just use the syrup here as the base of my drink. This is the sweetener of my drink with the mint syrup. The key to a really good drink that people do not tell you. Little bitty ice cubes, fill the cup to the top. Fill the cup up as high as you possibly can with ice. Because when you see those pictures, you see those videos of people when they're like, oh, the bartender's dripping me, they got all this ice in my cup. You literally need a bunch of ice in your cup to make a good drink. I am so sorry to have to break the news to you, but that is like the core of the drink. The ice is not just there to jip you, it's literally a part of the experience because the components are too strong otherwise. So we're gonna put this syrup in here, which is strong. This black tea is gonna go on top, which is also strong, but I'm counting on a little bit of dilution from the ice. You see how it's going in there? It's kind of getting diluted a little bit. That's what we want. But it's stunning just like this. Like, this is what I call a drink, honey. And again, this is why you just keep ingredients on hand, because you see how I just threw this together? I didn't have to like go sit in a drop through line. I have a peach sweet tea just that quickly. I'm just trying to teach you a thing or two, okay? I'm just trying to let you know. Life could be so simple. I don't know why we complicate it like we do, because I sure be throwing stuff together and eating real good, okay?